Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video where the heatwave is well and truly with us. We've been talking about it for a few days now, but it's going to get really hot for time of year, and indeed that is taking place now across many parts of particularly southern and eastern Britain. Temperatures going up at least into the upper 20s Celsius, quite wide across England and Wales today. Some places will go over 30 degrees, possibly up to 31 or 32 degrees. Depending on which website you look at, it's either going to be the hottest September day since 1973 or 1961 or possibly even 1955. So it's going to be a historic day to say the least if we get these temperatures around 32 degrees. 32 degrees is sort of a magic number to be getting these long-term records tumbling, because we have been approaching 30 degrees in a few of the Septembers over the past few years, but haven't really gone over 30 degrees for a very long time. So 31, 32 degrees, 90 Fahrenheit is like the that's the magic number to be talking about the hottest September day for 40, 50, 60 years. We'll wait and see exactly how high the temperature finishes later on this afternoon. Today's video is going to have a look at, first of all, the heat wave, and then we'll have a look at weather next week to 10 days, and then finally we'll have a look at the UK Met Office. Also have a look at CFSV2 for next month, and the UK Met Office as well, which updated last night for the next 6 months. I'll show you the mean sea level pressure anomaly chart at the end of the video for the winter. Set the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit when it appeared last night. But before we get on with all of that, just to say about the ads, lot to get through, but just say about the ads. There's video ads on the pages. Have a browse, visits, click through links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, thanks very much for doing that. So here we go with the radar picture. We have got some thunder. It's in roughly where we expected. We did storm watch last night, so it's around the southwest up towards parts of Dorset and going into South Wales, up the Irish Sea towards the Isle of Man and southwest parts of Scotland. Also some showers which aren't producing thunder across Scotland. Let's have a look at the lightning detector, and we can see all of the storms are down in the southwest, around the channel, in towards the southwestern parts of the country. They're moving northwestward, so they're not going to impact the east and the southeast. We've got these hot temperatures. We're actually going to be pushing northwards through Wales in towards the Irish Sea, eventually finishing up probably across Ireland and southwestern parts of Scotland. That's weatheroutlook.com. Find the link to Weather Outlook on the links page. Visit website xcweather.co.uk, and it shows you the latest observations. Again, this is on the links page. The highest temperature we have so far this morning has been 29 degrees Celsius. We've already beaten the date record for the 13th of September, which was around 28 degrees. We've beaten that already, and these temperatures are just going to keep climbing through the course of this afternoon. So, having a look at a few observations, Cranfield in the southeast Midlands comes out 26 degrees so far. Luton Airport is at 26 degrees. Northolt is at 26 degrees. Go further south, London Heathrow is at 28 degrees. Biggin Hill is at 28 degrees. London Gatwick is at 27. And so we go on. Find a few more places. There's the highest temperature so far. London City Airport, 29 degrees with a dew point of 16 degrees. It is more like high summer than the middle of September, and these temperatures haven't done climbing yet. They will continue to climb through this afternoon, finishing up somewhere around 31 or 32 degrees, 88 to 90 Fahrenheit. So this is the upper air temperature chart from the GFS for today. This is the reason it's so hot. We're bringing up really hot air from the south. As I say, this is not a part of anything that you was likely to see in July, but it's very unusual to be getting this extent of heat so late in the year in September. So 15 Celsius iceberg well into the country, going down towards a 20 Celsius iceberg across the northern parts of France. Over the next few days, we keep these very warm conditions going for Wednesday. Not quite as hot as it is today. I think today is the peak of the heat wave, but even so, it will be many degrees above average tomorrow and still approaching 30 degrees, I would have thought, in the east and the southeast. Still very warm into Thursday, and then Friday we bring cooler air in off the Atlantic, so if you're fed up with the heat, don't like it, then you're going to be seeing cooler weather arriving from the west on Friday, lasting into the weekend, into Saturday. Winds over weekend going round into the southwest. That's probably going to drag more pretty warm air up from the Azores. Won't be the heat wave type air that we've got right now. There's no real sign yet of a definitive move into proper autumn. And proper autumn would be seeing these yellow and green colours that, for instance, we've got across Norway and Sweden. That's proper autumnal air, and there's no sign yet of that descending down into the country. Have a look at the upper air temperatures from a GFS model. So obviously we're very, very above average right now. I mean, it's the upper air temperature with the ensembles, I should say. Heat made me a bit confused. Sorry about that. These are the ensembles showing the upper air temperatures from the GFS model. Right, the red line here is the 30-year temperature average. Many degrees above average right now. We've got a gradual slip away with the temperatures over the next few days. We talked about this yesterday. A few days ago, we was forecast to do something like this. Cool things down very quickly. Now it's a very gradual and slow decline in the temperatures until we eventually, by the weekend, finish up back around the 30-year temperature average just here. Into next week, goes a little bit above average, and a little bit below average, and a little bit above average. Again, there's no sign of a return back to the heat that we've got this week. That said, there's no sign of a definitive move into autumnal conditions either. The precipitation spikes, they're lessening off again. So it did a few days ago look like we're going to quite a wet spell next week. I think that's a bit doubtful now. Probably quite a bit of dry weather. There will be some showery bursts coming through at times next week. But again, no sign of a definitive move towards wet, cool autumnal conditions at this stage. This is the GFS for Saturday then, and we're within a cooler air mass, but notice the Azores high, which has been producing all of this hot weather over the past few weeks. The Azores high remains close to us, down to the southwest. Low pressure in the Atlantic is doing something like that with the jet stream. So as long as the Azores high remains close to the southwest of England, we can't rule out the prospect of further ridges and further very warm interludes. Into Sunday, Azores high remains close to the south again. Low pressure up to the north will bring some rain to Scotland and Northern Ireland. Into the early part of next week, look at that, still generally the idea that the north is quite unsettled, that the south remains close to this big area of high pressure in the Atlantic, the Azores high, that remains throwing off this ridge in towards France, and that sticks close to southern parts of England. Beyond that, into the middle part of next week, maybe a weakening of the Azores ridge, allowing this low pressure to start to move down from the northwest. This low pressure here and just here wants to bring autumn down from the Atlantic, but the Azores high continues and wants to maintain summer down to the south of the country. By the time it goes through to day 10, which is Friday 23rd of September, still the Azores high remains close to France. Low pressure remains out to the north and west, with the jet stream doing something like that. So the southern areas next week, it won't, I don't think, be as hot as it is this week, but still above average temperatures, I would have thought. Still quite a lot of dry weather, wetter and cooler up to the north and the west. Having a look at the ECMWF, again the Azores high is down to the southwest of us on Saturday, with low pressure up to the north and the west, running through the weekend into next week. We bring a weather front down across the country on Monday, which probably produces a band of rain, maybe even getting down into the south with a cooler air mass following along behind. Into the middle of next week, the Azores high ridges back into France. This is a little bit more of an unsettled scenario though from the ECMWF, but jet streams a bit further south running through the country like that. And then we go through towards the end of next week, day 10. And the Azores high is throwing up a ridge into central parts of Europe again, with low pressure out to the northwest. So that's trying to bring warmer air back from the south again. But the low pressure up to the north is keeping Scotland and Northern Ireland quite a bit drier. It's difficult to ascertain exactly what's happening next week, but as long as that Azores high remains anchored to France, southern areas at least are going to struggle to get cooler air down That's the general idea. The closer the Azores High is to southern parts of the country, the warmer and drier the weather is going to be. This is the CFS V2 500 millibar high anomaly for the next week. Have a look at the monthly anomalies from CFS V2. So this is from the 13th through to the 19th of September. Good representation of what's going on. Lots of high pressure to the east and to the southeast country. Low pressure out to the northwest. And that sends project stream through like that, brings up that hot southerly air. So it's good representation of what's going on. We go through to week 2, 20th, 26th of September, and it's all much more flat. We have still got the ridge around Spain, but low pressure to the northwest of Scotland is bringing the jet stream more or less through the country like that. So it implies cooler and more unsettled conditions there going towards the latter part of September. Week 3 looks very unsettled and quite cool with this 27th, I should say, of September to 3rd of October. Trough of low pressure almost centred over the country with the jet stream going rather like that. And then week 4 also looks unsettled and quite cool, with low pressure anchored close to the country, maybe even to the northeast. A ridge through the central Atlantic and heading up towards Greenland means that the flow and the jet stream is doing something like that. Now, all the way along through this summer, the CFS charts and also the JMA at times as well has been a lot more unsettled and cooler, these long-range charts, than what has actually occurred, particularly for the southern part of the country. So there is doubt, I would have thought, about how reliable these charts are. But of course, at some point, autumn is going to kick in. So maybe it will arrive at the end of September into October. Finally, I said I'd show you the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the UK Met Office long-range model for the winter. This was released last night, and it set the cat amongst the pigeons because it is going for a pattern that will produce really cold conditions this winter, going for a lot of high pressure around Greece and Iceland. It's placing a deep trough over Germany, and the upshot is that between the two, we will be bringing down the air from the north, the northeast, and from the east. That would be a cold winter pattern. The jet stream is going to the south of the country as well. We would be in for some pretty cold weather and probably snowy weather if that was to come off. Now, could we really go from such warm weather as we've got right now into a cold winter? It seems pretty dubious and unlikely, but you never know, as I always say. The weather gods are constantly trying to catch us out and surprise us. You just never know. So don't rule it out. That's what the UK Met Office model is showing for this month. We'll have a look at all the long-range models for the winter, do the first model update at the end of September, the last Sunday of September. Not sure what date that is, but the last Sunday of September is when we get all the long-range models together. UK Met Office will be included in that, and we'll have a look at what they're all showing for this winter, and be very interested to see whether there's any support from the GLOW C5 UK Met Office model. ECMWF maybe goes along with that to some degree, so perhaps a bit of support from the UK, for the UK Met, from the ECMWF. That's all very experimental and a long way off. It came back to a more immediate time frame. Well, we've got the heat right now. It's going to carry on for the rest of this week. It'll cool down on Friday into the weekend. It will be cooler, but expect temperatures to still be pretty warm down in the south, still above average for September, just not the ridiculous levels of heat that we've got right now. Next week looks uncertain. We may be setting up a north-south split. The north could be quite unsettling, a fair bit cooler. The south probably still, as long as the Azores High remains close to France, probably still hanging on to quite a bit of dry weather and above average temperatures, albeit not the same level of heat that we've got this week. Right, that's it now. Been quite a long video today. I think 14 minutes. Sorry about that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.